Hey everybody, it's me Chris. I'm back over here in the kitchen. And today I'm making buffalo chicken pizza. Might be one of my favorite pizzas. Alright, so let me show you my ingredients. I got my pizza dough. This is my 48-hour rise. You can get the recipe on my channel. I just got it in these individual pizza pans. I got some gorgonzola cheese. I got half a stick of butter, 1 onion. I got here about 3/4 of a cup of Frank's Red Hot sauce. This is 3/4 cup of honey. I got some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper. I'm using canola oil to cook this in. I got a little bit of water to help make my sauce. And then over here I have my chicken. Now these are 4 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I use about 1 per pizza. I got some flour and I got some shredded mozzarella. And I'm going to show you how to prep this. I got my oven preheating to 500 degrees. I got my pizza stones in. Alright, before I get to the chicken, I'm just going to dice this onion. I cut the ends off. I cut my onions the same way pretty much every time. I cut it in half and then I peel the outer skin. Okay. And then I'll just cut. I want to make kind of a fine dice. I'll make 2 incisions there. And then down on top and run my knife through. Alright, so my onion's diced. I'm going to set that aside and show you how to handle the chicken. And this needs to be cleaned. Usually get this corner in here. So I'll usually take that out first. Just come right around, get all that white stuff out of there. Trim any excess fat. Usually some right along the edge here, but you don't want to waste it. And now all I'm going to do here, and I cut my chicken the same way every time I put it on pizza, whether it's marsala or anything else. Just cut it in half, press your hand on top, and run the knife through, just like that. And now what I want to do is take one piece and just make long strips with the knife, like this. Okay? And then I want to make these strips into little bite-sized pieces. So just kind of run your knife through there, and these will be about, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch little chunks of chicken. Alright, so my chicken's all cubed. I'm going to heat up I got a large cast iron enamel skillet here. I'm going to turn it to medium high. And I'm going to season my chicken, kosher salt, fresh cracked pepper. Now I'll just give this a good toss to make sure it's mixed well with the salt and pepper. Okay, this looks good. Now the next step is I'm going to coat this with flour. And I'm just going to start with 1 big spoonful. And you notice I'm using this slotted spoon so that it doesn't clump up on me. And I'm just going to start to mix this chicken till it's really well coated. And I just want to leave a little extra flour on the bottom. I think that's just right. My pan's hot. I'm going to put a nice coating of canola oil. You want to make sure this doesn't stick. And I'm just going to add my chicken right to the pan. Oh, here I got about 1.5 tablespoons of leftover flour. That's good. You want to use that to thicken your sauce. Now I'm just going to spread this chicken out, and I'm going to let this cook until it's nice and golden brown on all sides. I'll keep turning it and moving it around as I need to. This looks good. I got it somewhat browned, and it's barely cooked. It's probably a little bit raw in some spots, but that's okay. And that's the secret to really tender chicken. You don't want to overcook it. So I just browned it as best I could, and that was it. I shut off the heat, and I'm going to transfer it to the bowl that had the remaining flour. Okay, so you can see my pan. I got a lot of stuff stuck here. That's called fond. I'm going to show you how to scrape that up later, but I'm going to put the 1/2 stick of butter and just a tiny bit more oil in there, and I'm going to add the onions. I'm going to start to brown these onions and add just a pinch of salt and pepper. Onions are nice and soft here, and it smells great. It smells like fried chicken and butter and onions. And I'm going to add about a cup of water. I got this on high heat, by the way. And I'm going to bring the water to a boil. I want to scrape all this stuff. Notice I switched to my wooden spatula. I want to scrape everything off the bottom of the pan here. Alright, so this looks pretty good. I got everything off the bottom. And I added about a cup and a half of total water. And I'm going to add the hot sauce and the honey. And just bring this back up to a boil. And while this comes back to a boil, I'm going to add a generous amount of Italian seasoning. It's about 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, so this is boiling nicely, and now it smells like buffalo wing sauce. So all I'm going to do now is add back my chicken right into the pan here, and you want to scrape that little bit of flour that was left in there, scrape it all into there, and that's going to give you a nice thick sauce. I'm going to stir this in, I'm going to lower it, and then I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes, and then we'll set it aside into a nice clean bowl, and it'll be ready to put on top of our pizza. Now sometimes when I make pizza with heavy toppings like buffalo chicken, for example, I like to pre-bake the pizza dough for a couple of minutes. It helps it cook through and stand up to the toppings. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I got my dough here. I usually just dip it in flour a couple of times, and then I place the bottom side up and just press inside to the edges and go around a couple times, flip it over, just pat it down a little bit and just start to stretch the dough, and then I use my hands. And I got my pizza peel here with some cornmeal on there, and all I'm going to do is just put this onto my pizza stone and let it bake just for 3 minutes. I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is it. This is what it looks like. These are the part cooked pizza crusts, and you know, it's similar to what you would find in the store. I think they're called Boboli or whatever it is. They sell them. They're like $5 or $6 a piece. For $6, I can make 30 of these. You could wrap these in plastic and freeze them, and you have pizzas ready to go if you want to pull them out. So I'm going to start to assemble these buffalo chicken pizzas, and from here it's pretty simple. I'm just going to do 2 at a time. I'm going to use about half of the chicken and just spoon it onto the dough, and then I'm just going to start to spread it out evenly. Alright, the next step is to come in and just crumble some gorgonzola. You don't want too big of pieces. Try and make them small. This could be pretty strong. And if you don't like the blue cheese, just leave it off. Alright, and then last but not least, the mozzarella. Not too much, just a nice coating. Okay, these look good. And that's it. These go back into the oven. They're going to cook about another 15 minutes or so till they're nice and brown and the cheese is bubbling. Alright, so my buffalo chicken pizzas are done and they look great. And the last thing I want to put on there, and this is optional, I just like to put a little bit of fresh parsley on top, just for some color and a little bit of fresh flavor. Get these last 2. And I'm going to cut this one and give it a try. Alright, so I cut myself a nice slice. I'm ready to give it a try here. Really, really good. You know, the gorgonzola cheese melts and it gets creamy. It almost makes like another sauce. The chicken's tender. The sauce is spicy but not too spicy. But you can control that with adding extra hot sauce. You could add some chili flakes. But it's really, really phenomenal pizza. Probably one of my favorites. And this chicken and sauce is so good, you could actually just make it and put it over rice. So there you have it. That's my buffalo chicken pizza. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.